Scroll of discipline. The time for rebirth is now. Respect us, serve us, become the good and clever woman you ought to be. Scroll of discipline. Realize your good fortune. This miracle is more than you deserve.
Gratitude isn't something you demand.
Scroll of discipline. Forget your lowly upbringing. Pitiless parents and foolish friends must all be cast aside.
I acknowledge my foolishness. But don't say such things to my parents and friends.
Scroll of discipline. Even ignoble mortal blood may serve its purpose. Be grateful you were chosen for such an honor. Scroll of discipline. With her blood shall our clan prosper. May our ancestors rejoice.
Am I just soil in which you can sow your oats? Don't be ridiculous.
She's done with this shit. Scroll of discipline. Come close. Women must submit to men. Kotsuyuki is still but a fledgling. Come, and we shall treat you as we see fit. Look into my eyes.
Stop.
I think the fox might be the bad guy. Prove your intent with the crests 3. Show what lies deep within your heart. Let the line of foxes guide you. Offer the crests, and they bear your soul. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. Nobody knows when, or even if, the eggs will hatch. Not even the chicks themselves. What? What? Is this based on what New Game Plus cycle I'm on, or what difficulty I'm on? It's some of the puzzles seem to be based on what ending you're on. Two chicks confide in one another in their shells. A fox watches over them in the light of his lantern. Shells? What in this resembles unhatched shells? But there's these two that are inside this thing technically, and I guess this is over them very literally. Okay. I guess that was it. Huh. Her back is not looking great.
Who are you? Why are you trying to control me?
Oh. Very different reaction this time. It's now final boss time. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hinako. Are you Hinako?
Junko. You and me. Everyone. Someone is toying with all of us.
What do you mean?
One of them wants to marry me off. The other one wants to stop the wedding. This whole time, they've been pitting me against myself.
But that's...
It's been an awful, agonizing ordeal. But I think I get it now. Everyone is always pressuring us, rushing us, forcing us. But these are battles that we both have to fight. I'm sorry, Junko. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I know. I've been a terrible daughter. But if you truly want nothing more than for me to be happy, then please, let me do this.
And this one, she doesn't have to be stopped. She just steps aside, lets us through.
This is my decision to make. I'll never be just some puppet to be toyed with and tossed aside. Never! Why must we fight to the death, just for one of us to survive this nightmare? Why do we have to bleed, just to begin seeing eye to eye?
For eons, all this rage and spite festered within me, and to this day smolder yet.
You insignificant wretch. Such rubbish means nothing to me.
Hinako, what is this?
Kotoyuki!
Once in a blue moon, humankind produces an extraordinary girl who is blessed with divine power. Upon her birth, a spell is placed on our clan's successor that stirs within him a desperate desire to go and seek out that extraordinary girl and make her his wife.
What are you?
In the past, we relied on our cunning, seducing our brides with clever deceits. but this generation's heir.
Failing to charm his bride-to-be demonstrates what an inexperienced failure he is.
Kodayuki, no. He just... all he wanted was for us to get married and be happy together. He tried so hard. He was alone all that time. Don't laugh! Don't you dare laugh at him! What he suffered, you will never understand! You monster!
Oh? Defeat the gods, plural.
At first, I wasn't interested at all. But as I got to know him better, I realized I had to think just as long and hard as he did.
Oh. Oh.
How kind he is now. He might someday become like my father.
Hello. Oh, there's the doll.
Don't laugh! The only one who gets to laugh at me is my future self! What does my life have to gain from giving into his feelings? What will I lose? What will change? What will happen? They say a woman finds happiness when she is loved by a man. These magic words don't help me feel better at all!
Haha! Perfect parry. Except without the parry part. That was a counter one. This is wild. Is he summoning? That's rude. Oh, we're still fighting though. Come on, how'd that miss? That's absurd. What? What the fuck is up with this hitbox? That's annoying. Come back here, you prick. Skadoosh.
My struggles are more serious! My doubt consumes me!
I'm trying to do good dodges for the counterattack, but I can't tell how the attacks work. They do so many things that look like attacks that aren't, I guess. Ah! Elden Beast ass pavilion. Haha! Haha. Haha. Uh-oh. So what's the difference between black kitsune and gold kitsune that was covered in red? I assume they're just different foxes? Like this isn't the same guy? And he was just speaking earlier because he was possessed? But it wasn't actually him because he's the gold one? Oh, you prick. Ah. God damn it. I'm so stun locked right now. Leave me alone. Rude.
If you really want to marry me, then know this. No.
They tear your asshole out like the pigs in Bloodborne. Yeah. God, she's so sluggish. It's so brutal. Come on. Oh no, that's such a waste. Unless it's over.
I don't know what our futures will look like. And no matter what we choose in the end, we will face it. And if we don't agonize over that decision, then it won't matter what we choose. Just let us think! Think over our lives in silence! We don't need your meddling! This is our struggle. Ours and only ours. Do not get to toy with us!
What's it doing? That's probably bad. Ow. Ow. What the fuck are... I don't know what the attacks are. It's so confusing. Damn, I just shredded the entire weapon in one go. No, I didn't do it right. That's so how did I not dodge correctly? I swear to God. Finally.
Sorry. I'll make sure to perform the last rites.
Are you two okay? Over there!
I like how they cut to a statue that was seemingly reacting to the collapse.
In here!
So there was no Shu at all in this ending. He was in both of the other
I'm deeply
endings.
sorry. He has had much to drink for his first wedding in many moons. He is normally so kind.
What do we do?
Just leave this matter to me for now.
Kotoyuki, you could,
Apologies. While I tried to give you everything, I failed to realize what you desire most. Now I know. We both share the same desires. I want to know whether my love for you is more than the mere whim of a spell. Please leave.
if the love you have for us was real, I hope that we can meet again. I'll think it through, slowly and carefully. We'll have our answer ready.
Ah, it just ends. Well, welcome to adulthood, warts and all. I was kind of hoping for confirmation that, is it Sakiko? It's hard to remember her name sometimes because she's dead the moment the game starts. I was like, is she alive? Is everybody alive? I assume that everyone's alive, because this was like a non-literal hell thing that she seemingly gets to leave and then go on with her life. And it was like a metaphorical representation of her struggles or something. Because otherwise, whether or not she gets married is just like so small stakes compared to all of the body count of the story. So I assume that her friends are actually fine. And this was all just a representation of that stuff. Makes it a very trippy game, because it's there's even the like, it makes you wonder if any of this even happened in any concrete level. Like, did she actually go off into some like horror isekai and then have a character arc there that also affected her real life thing, where everyone was analogous to real life people, but then the real life people also allowed her to make a similar choice? So the Silent Hill versions of the people affected the real life versions of the people. It's maybe defeating the purpose to try to be this literal in interpreting the events in concrete ways, but I feel like, given that it's a real life struggle, very concretely, like the thing that she's dealing with, and her decision is a real life one, it all being represented metaphorically, but so graphically, with no real delineation line between what's real and what's not, that makes me wonder, like, okay, but what did happen concretely in the story? I assume that she's not stuck in some kind of purgatory, because that would also kind of make the whole story pointless. So I assume she just ultimately, like, had the freedom outcome, basically, where she makes her own choices, and that choice even includes the idea of maybe I still can't get over the fact that person's name is Die Young. Maybe they sorry, it's just so loud. It's so loud. I need to turn it down. It's like speech jamming me how loud the ending song is. Yeah, her newfound freedom does include the ability to go on to choose to do this exact wedding anyway, but for her own reasons, and because she chose it. That does also include freedom and choice. Although it would be the funniest possible outcome is that after all of this, she then did just marry the same person. After all the hubbub. It'd be kind of funny in real life, but it's even funnier in the context of us experiencing it all through a Silent Hill game, and especially 5 playthroughs of a Silent Hill game to get all the endings. And then she's like, you know what, actually? That guy had some good ideas. After all that. I feel like I still don't have a good grasp on who the doll is. I think I had a bunch of different conflicting theories, and I never actually finalized it. And I feel like I was supposed to kind of have a better grasp of it by the end than I did. Whoops. Yeah, so the kitsune was possessing the fiance in that one scene to talk through him. So that's why it's a different colored fox. He was just a prick. There's almost a contrarian vibe to some of the endings with the way that she will do in some ways the opposite, or the tone will be like the opposite of what you think the ending is going for based on the surrounding stuff. Letter from Kotoyuki. The days have grown warmer where I am. What is it like in Ebisugaoka? I can still recall the startling beauty of dandelions peeking out through cracks in stone walls. I would like to express my appreciation for the letter you sent me. It was quite enlightening. I will follow in your footsteps and start by simply trying to enjoy life. As per your recommendation, I purchased sauce-flavored senbei for the first time, just the other day. Senbei, aren't those like the big rice crackers? I'm trying to remember. I think you were in a senbei shop in Yakuza Like a Dragon, but it's been a bit since I played that. It's been on Patreon for like almost a year now, I think, and I still haven't released it because the backlog of videos has been weird to navigate. I'm like almost ready to play another game in that series now. I must have been quite a sight to see. A man dressed in a suit buying cheap rice crackers and eating them with the children outside the candy store. The children laughed when they saw me, saying that real grown-ups don't buy such cheap snacks. I buy rice crackers all the time. And so, I explained to them how I wasn't able to eat many treats as a child, which is why I'm eating them now. When they heard that, they began swarming around me and telling me all the different delicious ways you can eat sauce-flavored senbei. Though I must say, I was taken aback when a child suggested I try putting strawberry jam on it. Imagine such a scene, a full-grown man eating snacks with children. While I was rather embarrassed, I felt like I had regained a part of my lost childhood. I intend to become reacquainted with my inner child, discover my own dreams, and live life to the fullest. And once I have done so, I hope to reevaluate my feelings for you. She gets to keep the arm. Oh, they're both here.
So, what should we do about our future? Kotoyuki gave me an idea. He grew to love someone deeply, to do anything, everything he could for them. I want to live a life that full of passion, of purpose, to pour my whole heart into things. To live with such passion that I might actually propose to Kotoyuki when I'm ready. I also want to pour my heart into something. Not sure what yet, though. Very specific. It's quiet here, isn't it? No one to tell us what to do or bother us.
Looks
It's
like the
nice.
road to the old
Just
shrine.
The two of us. Yeah. Just the two of us to decide where to go.
Yeah, I'm right. I've only played this game 4 times. How did you get up there?
I don't think it's ever been this quiet in Ebisugaoka. It's really beautiful. And it is all ours. Our silent Ebisugaoka. Together.
What does that mean? That makes it sound like she's stuck here. Like in the Silent Hill version. That's not good. Wait, did it flood? Or is this a different archway? I don't know. I think I get the gist of it. It's just the endings are a little hard to follow. But I think they maybe they want every ending to feel like a horror game ending, so all of them are ambiguously upsetting in some way. Well, that was Silent Hill F. They sure expect you to play the whole thing a lot of times. It's cool that changes happen after you get locked into an ending. As far as New Game Plus goes, though, them expecting to play it 4 times when 3 of those playthroughs are basically the same game 3 times in a row. Like, you just go into New Game Plus and then that's it. It doesn't iterate anymore past that point, beyond the very, very end, is kind of rough. It does go faster and faster each time, but you're still talking about probably 4 to 6 hours per playthrough. So I definitely was like, I'm gonna abridge this, and I hope I didn't miss too much stuff that were like minor changes in response to difficulty and or ending cycle in my editing. We'll see, because I could have to go off like memory and so on. But if I did the full playthrough that many times in a row, it would be so tedious to sit through. I'm already just slightly slightly unsure about whether or not even if the first New Game Plus playthrough should be shown in its entirety, front to back, unabridged, but I think I went with that because I don't really want to have to figure out what to keep and not keep, repetition-wise. And it was a bit shorter than the original playthrough, but still a chunky bit of time. I definitely like playthroughs that, change a lot more each time than this, just to best justify the time spent and so on. It's interesting. So we have more definition now of it. At the time, I thought the pills were her having some kind of addiction, which was still sort of suggested, but instead of being a personal flaw of hers, or a pill that's like deluding her and causing us to see the wrong thing, we didn't get what I thought was going to happen, which is that I thought we were going to find out that our friends were right to be mad at us, and that there's like behaviors she's up to that paint her as more flawed than the first playthrough presented her as, and then we might get to spend more time with the 2 friends that seemingly hate us behind our backs, or one of them right to our faces. That's not what panned out. Instead, we eventually found out that Shu was giving us like a dissociative identity disorder pill, basically, that makes us have a second consciousness that we go and come into conflict with, and so on. Which I guess it's framed as like a betrayal and a sick thing that he was doing, but we do ultimately, in the true ending, come together with the other version of ourselves into like a synthesis where we have the most independent, framed as good ending, even if it's one that he probably didn't want because he's not along for the ride for it. I'm definitely happy to skip as much of the combat as possible in New Game Plus cycles. So whatever combination of that might be between the patch and being on easy difficulty and being on New Game Plus, because any of those things might change stuff to be more skippable. I know the patch did it, but for all I know, New Game Plus might have also done it a little bit, just knowing that you've played it before. It blew my mind slightly, realizing, oh wait, I can just skip the school by just using the locker combination at the beginning. You just walk in, open one locker, get a key, walk out, skip the entire school level. Very funny. But my main gripes are probably just the combat being kind of grueling and repetitive compared to the original games, just kind of being a bit less detailed, but more just one tool in your arsenal. This one has a big skill ceiling where it kind of feels unclear moment to moment what you should expect your difficulty to be like. It's very different. But the end screen popping up and me seeing achievements distracted me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I had 2 points. Damn it. Oh no, did I completely lose my train of thought just now? God damn it. I'm usually so good about it. Probably a sign the game's pretty good if I'm struggling to even remember my complaints about it. Oh yeah, the fucking level design. Just the fact that it's just a bit frustrating that the not so titular Silent Hill map is just so linear. It's just a bit frustrating throughout the playthrough that you constantly can't go almost anywhere. I don't really want an open world like in Downpour, because that game sucked. And I especially didn't like that game's like extreme like its massive map of obscure, incomprehensible quests that just were unsatisfying and annoying for me to interact with. And then I don't want collectibles. I don't want any open world design from modern games. It's just that I do appreciate on some level being able to wander around Silent Hill in like the first couple of games. Not in like an open world sense, but just in the fact that like every time you leave, you keep getting objectives around town, then you figure out how to navigate there by figuring out which roads aren't obliterated by rifts and stuff like that, and then or ravines. And then when you get there, you do a level in that location, and then you go back outside and you're in the foggy streets again, and you kind of can still mostly roam around, and you just have like a new objective of like a thing that's now a new like location that's active for you to do for the next story thing. This game just has so many things happening in the open world here and there, like collectibles that are tied to your progression, things like the mailbox for your friend, and even the UFO ending and a bunch of stuff like that, and even elements of how you get the sacred sword. It really feels like they could have let you get around a little bit more without having to constantly block you off or have you go through doors that that lock behind you, or hopping down off of cliffs that you can't go back. Like there's so many point of no return moments throughout the game that they just kind of continuously happen, to the point where the concept of a point of no return is almost not applicable to this game. You're kind of always being shepherded forward like you would be in like an old like Xbox era action game, the way that so many of those older games were just you kind of moving forward through a series of environments where you basically couldn't move backwards ever. It was just a linear series of rooms. This game is very nearly that. You are constantly in a relatively tiny exploration zone where there's always a door closing behind you every step of the way, which is just kind of like a little frustrating if you just want to explore and you don't realize that you're hitting the cutscene threshold that's going to rip you out of zone permanently, and you don't want to like have to load saves all the time to get around that. But in the case of those specific objectives, it's just really irritating. It's really irritating to know you can't get the UFO ending because you went like one door too deep and saved, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't even realize I was even at risk of not being able to go back. I thought I was just in the open world area. Like, it's one thing if you can't go back because you did one of the Dark Shrine areas, but there's several point of no returns just traversing from one Dark Shrine area to the other one. And it's like, oh man, damn it. And yeah, like when you get the key for your friend's mailbox to find out about her autism diagnosis, I think that you can technically go get it if you get it instantly and don't do even play for a moment longer. But almost immediately, if you just do a little bit more gameplay, I think you immediately hit some kind of point of no return where that road gets blocked off and you can't go back there until literally the very end of the game, if you take a huge detour into town at the last moment. And it's like, it just feels unnecessary to have a series of explicit and non-explicit goals all over the map, but constantly restrict your ability to get around. And it's like, it's one thing if you're just unlocking new areas as you go and you're gaining more freedom to move around, but you're not gaining more freedom or losing freedom. You can always just only explore where you are now. And that's just how the whole game is structured, basically. And not even consistently, because like when the whole part where you have access to the rice paddies, you can pretty much just run around this huge chunk of map for a while there. But the moment you're done with that area, you can't do that anymore for any of the zones. It's just strange. It's just a strange layout. There's like a lot of very arbitrary ways that the map cuts you off that just makes the fact that they give you reason to want to get to places more annoying, because you're like, well, then why are my objectives structured that way if the map isn't structured that way? It's just the vibe, I guess. Boom. Now there's a bird. There's the masks ending, the fox ending, and then fox and bird. I saved time by not having to replay it again using my branching save, so unfortunately I don't have them all in one little thread, but I didn't even successfully get the UFO ending because of aforementioned issues, so I was never going to get a satisfying little thread of endings anyway. It's fine. What's the title screen look like now? Ah, that makes sense. Overall, pretty neat game. I'm not totally sure how much it necessarily feels like a Silent Hill game. Obviously, even the concept of talking about that it involves like grasping at now ancient video games, Silent Hill 1 to 3 or 4, 1 to 5 even. But like the last 3 or 4 if you count PT were so different, increasingly so, and they were either Downpour was different because it tried to be modern. Shattered Memories was different because it tried to be different. Shattered Memories is more akin to this game, where it's genuinely an experimental, different thing. And then Origins is just a somewhat derivative but competently made Silent Hill game. It's just very by the numbers. And Homecoming's ass. Homecoming is the worst one in the entire series by a wide margin. It's just, its gameplay is bad, its graphics are hilariously bad. It's in that era of 360 games where 360 games were, when you look back at them now, are uglier than the PS2 games that came before them, because they're like, our graphics are so good we can be photorealistic now, and they were wrong. They were so wrong, thinking that they could just go pure realism with no stylization, because all their graphics aged like shit during that era where they thought that they had the final era of graphics, because we've advanced so far beyond that. And Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, and 4 have like barely aged. They look 2, 3, and 4. 1 looks cool, but is obviously old. It's PS1. They don't have faces, basically. I like how it looks, but it's very different. It has dithering. That really tripped me up. I was like, whoa, the screen's covered in dithering. That's interesting. I'm not even used to using that word outside of comics. But Homecoming was just, it's like, it tried to work in fucking Silent Hill the movie stuff, and it was just like, just nothing about it really worked at all. It was just real rough all the way around. Did not have a good time with that one. But yeah, this one, there's a conversation to be had about what a Silent Hill game even is anymore, I guess. And that might be, and it's on some level more interesting to have this maybe than, I don't know. We'll see how I like Silent Hill 2 remake when I get around to that. I've heard people saying that it's the worst thing ever and the best thing ever in equal measure. People seem incredibly divided on Silent Hill 2 remake. Like for a little bit, it sounded like there was like a consensus that it's like, wow, Bloober Team actually nailed it. We didn't believe in them, but they did it. And then I've seen so much pushback to that message in the years since. So I don't know what the consensus is there. I do see a somewhat, I do potentially agree with the overall there's a criticism of modern survival horror in that these legacy franchises are taking what was very particular identity and gameplay styles and overall story and exploration styles and so on, and kind of squishing them all into the same type of game, like the Resident Evil remake saga, where they all have a very specific gameplay style that is all mixing together. And in many cases, Resident Evil is adapting games that had very different gameplay styles, and they're mashing them all into the Resident Evil 2 remake style, which itself is sort of a take on the Resident Evil 4 style, although not totally, because obviously Resident Evil 4 was notably different in its Resident Evil 2 remake-ness that came. And I think that people have been having a similar conversation about Silent Hill 2 remake, and how Silent Hill 1 remake also will probably have a similar vibe of them just kind of turning all of these franchises into Resident Evil 2 remake, which is a little rough. Resident Evil 2 remake is really fucking good. Like, it might be my favorite Resident Evil game. It's just very solid experience all around. It gave me a lot of really good experiences. But I think it was also really specifically cleverly made in a way that the other games done in that style aren't always done. Like, that game fucked with you because you had such good control of your character and aiming, but it didn't matter because the zombies were so fucking hard to kill. And like, it just kept putting me in these like really tense situations between Mr. X and the liquors and all these other things where it stuck with me how much I was like moment to moment always kind of stressed out and always kind of making these like snap decisions, and like that whole system works so well, particularly in a system that has like those safe rooms and you're exploring a map. And they've never hit right since then, because Resident Evil 3 is more of a linear thing that's less in that style. Resident Evil 4 isn't in that style at all. That might have been like the sweet spot for me, is a game that kind of plays like Resident Evil 4, but has the style of the old Resident Evils map-wise. Like Resident Evil 4 and 4 Remake and 8 just didn't hit the same way, whereas the sweet spot for me in Resident Evil was Resident Evil 7 and 2 Remake. Like, I like having a little map that I gotta explore and make. I get into a little safe room and I manage my inventory for a minute, and then I'm making intense decisions about which stuff to keep in my safe box and which stuff to take with me, and like what stuff do I think I'll need to survive, and what stuff how many spaces do I think I want to keep open in my inventory so that I can carry the items that I find, be they because like quest items take up inventory space. I think quest items should take up inventory space, that they're part of the navigational puzzle of how to play the game. In this game, they're like, this game's more akin to 8 and other ones like that, where like these games don't really have safe rooms, they don't really have inventory management that matters all that much. This game, you really do just explore around and pick up all the random items that are just scattered around, and then you just like sell half of them because you're trying to make space for the other stuff that you're going to keep finding, because you want to keep having space to pick up more things. It doesn't hit the same way. And I don't think that Dark Soulsing the combat is necessarily the direction I want to go in. Like, I just like having some desperation and messiness, and that desperation and messiness goes away when, 1, you can like perfect dodge counterattack, and 2, the game locks you in locations to fight things in many cases, so you don't have the option of being like, oh, maybe I should run. because the choices are removed. But I've had this rant multiple times about this game where it's just like there's certain situations where you're in a combat gauntlet and you're in Fox mode and so on, where it's like, wow, they really did remove every single choice from the game, and you're just doing a skill check for like 10 minutes or an hour until you can unlock the next piece of story. I definitely vastly preferred the levels that took place here than the ones that took place in the shrine. I liked exploring Ebisugaoka and the forms that it took. Every environment was an interesting little bit. Like, I like how much variety they put into this very small village and how each bit of it is exploring a very different vista, and it has different layouts. Like you're in the canals or the gutters or what, I don't know what it's called. You're in the area where the water goes to the city, in like a more like the cement area, and then you're going amongst the houses. You're going through the paddies. You're going through the mountains and the back roads. You're creeping up and out and around through alleyways, the main street, exploring inside of a couple of houses and having that like claustrophobic environment inform what's going on. By comparison, the shrine is so boring because they have so little variety. You're just in a big castle, or sometimes you're in some rocky, dark areas with some water around, but mostly just in variations of a big castle. Just not nearly as interesting for me. Especially since those bits were much less based around exploration, even when they were kind of about exploration. It's like the big places, like the big level where you deal with both of your friends and kill them, kind of. That level does drag in a way that like the Shimizu Residence doesn't. Like, that level probably isn't longer than the Shimizu Residence or the middle school, but it does get boring a lot faster than either of those levels. Even with some nominal puzzles about how you defeat each of your friends by getting through doors in weird ways and so on, it just doesn't hit the same. I don't know. I wonder if that's a common opinion at all, or if I have weirdly divergent opinions. But like, I totally love just going to Silent Hill and exploring a middle school or whatever and fighting monsters and having to. I like that grounded setting. That we're of a vaguely familiar place, even if it's like a Japanese school, so there's a lot of differences. Like, I do like it more in those spaces. Either way, I'll keep playing every Silent Hill game as they come out. We'll see what happens with the future ones. I'm officially out of Silent Hill games as far as new releases in the linear order of things goes. I currently technically have the short message or whatever it's called, which is like negligible. Knock that out at some point, maybe. I don't think people even like that one. I don't know. And then I'll probably play the Silent Hill 2 remake, and then Silent Hill 1 remake. I don't know if that'll be out by Halloween. If it's not going to be out by Halloween, maybe I'll play 2 next Halloween, and then 1 the Halloween after that, or something like that. I have no idea what the release schedules for these things. That'll plan ahead. But maybe this is where the Silent Hill series finally falls off my Halloween docket. I can't believe God, you guys are probably watching this in like January or February, aren't you? That's how long it took to get through all the playthroughs. But yeah, as a recap, I played a Silent Hill game every Halloween, starting 8 years ago. So I got through 9 consecutive Silent Hill releases. When I beat the 8th one, Downpour, that was the last Silent Hill that had been out at the time, and that was the end of a road that I looked forward to getting through for 7 years, and it just coincidentally turned out that Silent Hill F was going to come out in time for the next Halloween. So it was like, damn, it's like I summoned this game by doing a 7-year-long ritual where I played one Silent Hill again a year, and then it's like playing Bastion and the landscape forms in front of your feet as the level generates and everything. It's like the Silent Hill franchise had to come back to save my series. So we'll see what the options are next year or whatever. But also, I otherwise want to get caught up on my other goal, which I was trying to finish all of Resident Evil, which I got kind of close to by some definitions. Hard to define because there's like multiple versions of each game now, and also multiple campaigns of some games, and I haven't always played both campaigns of all of them. But I think 9 is coming out, has been announced recently, which is a Return to Leon, I think. And I gotta play Code Veronica still. I think that's like one of the only ones left for me, beyond version differences between 1, 2, and 3 and stuff. I played both 4s. Suffice to say, if you like this series and you want to watch more Silent Hill stuff, you can watch, I think there's a mega playlist link in the description of this whole series, where you can watch every single Silent Hill game that I've played so far back to back and see my voice change year to year and my performance style or whatever, and historical context shift as the series probably starts in like 2016, around the time I was starting my career as a full-time Let's Player. Oh my god, I was already doing this full-time back then. Yeah, wow. I'm like almost a decade deep into doing this as my job and my only job, and we'll see if I can keep this afloat. Ugh. I'm just rambling. Overall, neat game. Kind of flawed. Not my favorite. Definitely better than the last 3 I played, so that's good. Probably by the last 4 I played. I don't know if I'd place it above. I don't know how to rank the Silent Hill games. It's also been an eternity, so I don't remember them as clearly, so I could be biased based on just vague feelings. And also, I also have a contrarian streak where sometimes I just want to like rank the really interesting one the highest because it's iconic and weird. Like, my ranking of the entire series might be like Silent Hill 4, 2, F, 1, 3, Shattered Memories, Origins, Downpour, Homecoming. I think that's my ranking of the series. Probably. I think I got the Majora's Mask disease, where the really quirky, interesting game is like my favorite, and I think that's really cool. Like, I like that. Like, I come and go back and forth all the time, but like Majora's Mask is probably my favorite Zelda. It's just really cool what it's doing, and I want to see more stuff like that. And in that way, Silent Hill 4 is just so weird. It's just so weird and interesting. I also have an unusually negative opinion of Silent Hill 3. It's fine. My issue is that I think the story doesn't exist for like half of it, if I remember correctly. You're just in a big combat gauntlet with very little narrative context. You have like an intro cutscene, then almost no cutscenes until you get home to your dad, and then the narrative starts, and you're like, huh, that was a long time. And I remember when I looked at the playlist for those games, they were pretty consistently like 6 to 8 hour games, and then specifically Silent Hill 3 was suddenly way longer than the first 2, and I'm like, why is this one so much longer? And then 4 is longer, but because it has more mechanical weird things going on. Either way, thanks for watching like always, guys. Went on for a long ass time. This might not have been the most definitive thoughts to have at the end of this game necessarily, but I'm hesitant to retread 10-minute rants that I've had several times throughout the game, so I don't want to. For the things that my opinion hasn't really changed on, I don't really want to retread all of those again. Overall, pretty neat game though. Thanks for watching like always, guys, and I will see you next time.